Welcome to the WebNEERS training, Documenting Program Impact in WebNEERS. This webinar has been developed to introduce you to the Manage Program Impact tab located on the home page of the WebNEERS system. My name is Michelle Scott Pierce. I'm an Extension Associate at Cornell University. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please do not hesitate to share them with your local supervisor, regional coordinator, or send any questions to me via email at mls63@cornell.edu. I have added this information to the bottom of every program slide. The learning objectives associated with this training are to identify the key components of the Program Impact Report in WebNEERS and become familiar with the steps necessary to create a Program Impact Report. As a result of participating in this webinar, you should be able to identify those components and be able to link your success stories, participant records, letters from program participants with those key components. The materials you will need to successfully participate in this training are the Program Impact Success Story handout and the Program Impact Drafting Template. These two documents will be found next to and linked from the page on which this training was linked. Be sure that you have them before you begin going any further into the webinar. For your anchor today, consider the types of successes your program participants make. Perhaps your participants had gone from not being very engaged in the session to actively sharing. Or possibly participants have shared that they are more aware of portion size or label contents or what my plate actually says. The Program Impact Report will help you document these successes, and through you, the region and the university will better understand how our program impacts the lives of participants. Tools available to you are your progression notes, letters from program participants, Post-it notes you collect from program participants where they're sharing their program successes. You might also use a goal sheet where participants report each week or at least once during the session what their goals are and what they would like to accomplish as a result of participation in the FNEP program. Here's an example of a letter that was shared to a frontline staff person at the conclusion of a session. This particular individual shared that they are now getting up early, 6:30 a.m. They do a little bit of warm-up, so they're being active. They're eating breakfast. They plan a light lunch and take walks for about 15 minutes with their wife each day. They plan dinners with their family. They count calories, and they measure portions. When this particular person started the program, they weighed 230 pounds, and now they're down to 207. This participant goes on to say that they're thankful for the workshop, the hands-on experience, and they recognize that they've gained a lot of knowledge and now know how to eat safer and healthier. It's critical that we be able to document this information as you move forward and put it into our impact statements. Let's review the how to create a program impact and to identify the components of the report. We're going to go ahead and link to WebNEERS. It's important that you have access to WebNEERS. I'm going to stop sharing the PowerPoint presentation and begin sharing the WebNEERS login information. You will need to be an identified user. I have two user accounts, one for the institute level, which is the MLS63 at cornell.edu. And the second is a Yahoo account, which allows me to go in and act as a region level user. I'm going to log in to the region level. I'm going to verify that I'm in the correct database. I'm going to verify that I'm in the correct year. This is the home screen of the WebNEERS system. The adults are in the first column, the youth groups are in the second column, and the third column is the staff and the annual updates and 5-year plan. Here is where you will find the Manage Program Impacts tab. When you select that tab, you will note that there may be program impacts already here, as you can see on the screen, or you may note that nothing is here. I'm going to delete this program impact report so that you can see what it may look like if nothing has already been added. Adding a program impact is as simple as selecting the Add Program Impact, and you will be forwarded to a screen into which the information is entered. Any information or box or field that is outlined in red is a required field, and information must be added. Beginning at the top, and remember, you have 2 handouts that are available to you. One provides you these screenshots with additional information or guidance to support you in developing this. The second is a template or a drafting tool that allows you to begin to enter the information or work on the information before you actually get to the WebNEERS system. The title is a short sentence that catches the eye and focuses the attention of the reader. The success story that I'm going to be entering today is a multi-generational success story. Education was provided in a series where there was grandparents, their daughter, and then their grandchildren also participated all in one setting. So I'm going to name this Making Changes Across the Lifespan. This is just an example. Another example might be something like food safe and nutritionally sound. Women in a homeless shelter change the food environment. Something quick, something spicy, something that catches the attention. The next field that's required is the date field. The date field can be rather confusing, and it may be the date that the series started, it may be the date that the series ended, or it may be another date, perhaps a date that you receive a letter from a program participant or group of participants sharing their successes with you. That may be weeks, months, or years after the actual program took place. For the purposes of this example, I'm going to use December 14th, 2014, because this series was offered last program year, but the information was actually shared in December of 2014. Next is this Submit for Institute Use. Go ahead and unselect that button. After the information is into the system and your local supervisor or regional coordinator has worked with you to ensure that the document accurately reflects everything you want it to, then you may go ahead and submit the information to the institute level. Focus area. The focus area is the area that the success story is going to focus on. So while you may cover in your series all of these topics, diet quality, physical activity, food resource management, food security, and food safety, really we want the success story to focus in on those key areas, and we want the core areas that they report on to be reflected. In this particular instance, the core areas we're going to be reporting on are diet quality and physical activity, because those are the two areas that the family really reported that they had made the most change in. The secondary area is not required, but in this particular instance, the family and interpersonal relationships really were impacted. So we're going to select that. Next is the keywords. The keywords really are what the story falls into, or the categories that the story falls into. Again, in our particular instance, we're going to be talking about weight management. We're going to be talking about personal growth and confidence because of the changes that the family made, positive impact on the whole family, and then improved overall health. The last column here is the people. Of course, we're going to select the paraprofessional staff, or in the case of New York, our frontline staff, because you're the ones who are interacting with the program participants. Professional staff, volunteers, coordinators, partner collaborators may also be selected if they really contributed to the education or the event that's being reported on. If not, it is okay for those not to be selected. Next is the participant. Is the success story about adult participants, pregnant teen participants, youth participants, or another audience? In this particular instance, we're talking about adult education. It was to a group of adults across the lifespan. So adults is an appropriate option. Moving down the page, we then have our background and we have our outcomes. The background is a brief narrative description of the circumstances prior to program involvement and the actions, activities, or project milestones that took place during the program that led to the outcomes. Be careful who is telling the story. If it needs to be in quotation marks because the information comes directly from the program participants, make sure that it's in quotation marks. Never use the participant's name or personal identifiers. If the person uses names, simply remove that and type in brackets the participant or the participants if it's multiple participants. If you've used the drafting template, then you may simply highlight those sections. And I have one that's filled out, as you can see, making changes across the generations. The date, I didn't check the boxes, but that can be done in the system. To highlight the information, just select it, select the right button of your mouse, select copy, and bring it over to the WebNEERS system, into the box into which you wish it placed, select the right button, and select paste. This will take information from Word and place it into WebNEERS. In this particular instance, the background for the success or the program impact that we're reporting on is as follows. 3 generations living in the same home participated in an FNUP series of 8 sessions. The grandmother, grandfather, their daughter, and granddaughter entered the program to learn to eat better. The family reported meals were, and this is a direct quote, whatever was the easiest and fastest to prepare, and most weren't, and again, in quotes, the healthiest. Few fruits, vegetables, or whole grains were consumed in the home, and physical activity was not a part of their routine. None of this is in quotes because while this is all information they shared, these have been converted from the way that the participant wrote it to words that put it all together and summarized all of the changes that the families were talking about. The sessions, based on Eating Right is Basic Enhanced, again, in this particular instance, the curricula that was used, your curriculum may be something different, addressed portion size, label reading, eating to my plate recommendations, and becoming more physically active. This provides the reader with not only a background of the family, but provides information on the number of lessons the participants engaged in, where the information came from, and what the topics covered were. Finally, we talk about the outcome or the impacts. Again, this is a brief narrative description of the direct benefits or indirect unintended consequences which occurred as a result of participation. As above, be clear who's telling the story. If it needs to be in quotes, make sure it is in quotes. If it comes directly from the program participant, make sure it's in quotes. Do not use your program participant names. Again, if you've used your tool, your drafting tool, you can go back to your impact report, copy the information, place it into WebNEERS, select the right button, and paste. The outcomes for this particular success story are as follows. Each family member wrote a letter to the FNEP staff expressing the changes they had made as a result of participating in the series. The family reported to, and this is in quotes, always incorporate veggies with the family was named, so that's been removed, dinner. Fruits and vegetables are available for snacks whenever possible. White bread and rice are being replaced with whole grain alternatives. These came from the participants, but are not in quotes because these are not the direct words from the participants. The grandfather shared, and this is a quote, "My wife and I walk 15 minutes each day. I plan dinners with my family, count calories, and measure portions." He also reported to have lost 23 pounds as a result of the program. The grandmother, who shops for the groceries in the home, again, this is a quote, checks all the nutrition facts, prices, and shops with a list for things I need rather than just buying whatever I see at the market. This is a real change for this particular participant. She noticed the change in the family diet has, and this is a quote, given myself and my family a little more energy than prior to the class. The granddaughter reported she has begun to portion her food, again it's a quote, and has learned to check the calories I eat and walk a little more. She also reported that she has lost weight through these classes. The daughter shared, I have started using less salt and is teaching, and she has younger children, which she named, so I put that in parentheses, the benefit of eating healthy. She said she is sad the class is ending and is committed to making more healthy choices. As you can see, these program impacts are not long. The background is 2,000 characters or less, and so is the outcome statements. Be clear, be concise, and to tell the story of your program's successes. Once you're confident that the information reflects your program, go ahead and select Save. And as you can see, this information is now listed. Once it's in the system, it's important that you notify your local supervisor or regional coordinator so that they can go ahead, review it, ask any outstanding questions, work with you to make any clarifications or necessary modifications to the report, and then they will go ahead and select Share with Institute level. I'm going to stop sharing WebNEERS at this point and go back to the presentation. So for today, your apply in a way is to consider your own program successes and identify one you would like to add to WebNEERS to demonstrate your success. In New York State, one program impact is required from every staff person. That doesn't mean that only one can be submitted. If you have other successes that need to be and should be reported, we encourage more than one being submitted. One is required. You must work with your local supervisor or regional coordinator to ensure that all the information is provided and that it clearly represents your program successes. I encourage you to work on these early and get them reviewed so that you meet the reporting expectation. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please talk with your local supervisor, your regional coordinator, or you may feel free to contact me, Michelle Scott Pierce, at the email that is provided on the screen. I look forward to hearing from you and reading your program success stories.